We have a very distinguished speaker, Mr. Abdullah M. Farooqi today. He is a process excellence manager working in a leading MNC. So we are very thankful to him for his time. He is a very expert in this process excellence related topic, agile. Earlier also he has conducted one webinar and it was very successful. And today also he's going to present a very important webinar on the topic called Kaizen, and this has been in very much in demand in the industry. And as for him, it is not just about process excellence, but the things which he is going to share with us, it can be, we can use it and we can take it to improve every task, whatever we do. So with this, I will hand over to Mr. Abdullah M. Farooqi to start the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Shoaib. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So thanks, CGC, for the platform to share this good information with you all. So before I start, like I will give a quick introduction about myself, and then we'll request, like meanwhile, while I'm giving my overview, I will request everyone who has joined the call that please share your like for me, my name is Abdullah Farooqi, and I have close to 10 years of experience, and I have been working with clients like Bloomberg, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Apple. So in all these 10 years, I have learned a good amount of knowledge, skills while working with these MNCs, because they are very adapted and they also try to imbibe all the cultures which comes up, which are healthy for the company. So besides those 10 years, I have been like working, like I started almost like an associate, then moved to team leader operations, then quality, then training, then process excellence. It's like a complete journey. Then I pursued and like in between, I did a lot of projects, like improvement projects, and pursued my green belt certification from Indian Statistical Institute, then my black belt certification as well. And luckily, like this is my third session from the platform of Coaching and Guidance Center, from the Career Guidance Council. And the previous two sessions were, the first session was about uh, 7 quality tools. The second session was about lean and the lean tools which we use. The third session is on Kaizen. So guys, like meanwhile I'm sharing the details, can you please share your quick, yeah. And so guys, great, so let's start on this. And first of all, like this is about Kaizen. This I think you all know about the Career Guidance Council. It has been started for the last decade. It has been working aggressively in the path for improving professional experience, thoughts, let people getting more experiences in terms of different skills, knowledge, and jobs. Moving forward to the first stage of Kaizen, what is Kaizen? So guys, Kaizen is basically, it's a Japanese term which means change for better. Okay, Kai means change, Zen means better. If you combine both of them, it means change for better, or it's called a continuous improvement. Okay, and it means small incremental changes break apart and put together better. So guys, Kaizen is a philosophy. It is something which is being prevalent across the globe, you know, in like almost all the companies, which looks for improvement, optimization in their goals. So as said, Kaizen is something which gives you that opportunity to look into the problems, find the solutions, and implement them. And it's called a quick fix. So focus on small, quick changes for long-term success. Like while I'm saying focus on small, quick changes, for the people who are hearing for Kaizen, they might have heard about Six Sigma, they might have heard about lean, innovation in various companies. So I will also share what the difference between Kaizen, Lean, Six Sigma, and why Kaizen is so important for all of us, that we are having a session on that, and how you can use it effectively. Drive your organization ahead by creating continuous improvement culture. Develop a mindset. So guys, this is very important. Develop a mindset of solving problems on your own instead of depending on others. So what happens, like whoever is managing a team or experiencing or working from associate level to whatever experience they have definitely seen one aspect that they used to see as a problem. I mean, they used to get troubled by the problem. Okay, and all the trouble goes away if you change your inclination from problem to the solution. So Kaizen is something which is a solution seeker. You have a problem, okay, look for a quick solution, fix it, and move ahead. find a new Kaizen, find a new problem, implement Kaizen, get a Kaizen event, and move ahead. Okay, so it's again a small continuous change leading to long-lasting improvements. Now Kaizen of power of a small improvement continuous, which is like it was basically launched by Masaki Imai. He's a Japanese guy, and first of all, he wrote about Kaizen in a book, The Key to Japanese Competitive Success, in 1986. And post then, it is being used in Toyota Production Systems and many other companies across the globe. Okay, he describes Kaizen as a means of continuous improvement in personal life, home life, social life, and working life. So, guys, it's not only about, like, if you are here, it's not only about you're going to benefit with respect to your organization. It's also a benefit with respect to your with respect to your personal life, home life. How are you managing your affairs? Okay, the third point says workplace managers and workers working together to make improvements with low capital investments. Guys, this is a problem with all of us, that whenever we try to look for some solutions, we try to go directly for automation, and most of the time we see that automation is really an expensive job. You need an engineer, you need to pay for them. So Kaizen is something which gives you a quick and easy way. It's very cost effective. Then we have originally used by Toyota Motors. It is now being implemented around the world by many companies, as I suggested. Creativity over capital is a war cry for Kaizens. So creativity is something. So I think in my experience with multiple clients, what I've observed is that it is the Kaizen derives the bottom up approach. Means to say that it is the associates who are working on the workplace area. It means for the people who are working with investment banking, okay, they are working on some tools, might be on Bloomberg. Okay, so my experience with Bloomberg says that we used to add information from the annual reports into the Bloomberg terminal, the financial information. So we find a lot of ways. I mean, the Wipro was also deriving that kind of behavior, where they were just trying to identify the ways where they can reduce the wastage, which we will learn in the next slide. Okay, the message of the Kaizen strategy is that not a day should go without some kind of improvement being made somewhere in the company. So the great part of the Kaizen is that everyone in the company is part of a Kaizen. Even a board of directors, managing director, associates, cleaning guy, everyone is a part of a Kaizen. So in most of the companies, what they have is to derive the culture of Kaizen. Even the managing directors have a target, like they need to have 2 Kaizen implemented every month. Similarly, if just think, if in a team of 1,000 people, everybody is coming around 1 Kaizen every month, it will be a huge benefit at the end of the year or a month. Yeah, so Dastani, regarding the continuous improvement, I will come on Agile as well, which we will discuss in the next few slides. And what Kaizen is not, okay? Improvement in complex problem or requiring Six Sigma techniques, they are not part of Kaizen. As I said, Kaizen is a quick fix. It takes 1 week or more. It is not a long-term project. It is a quick project to get things implemented. Then I have listed few things about Kaizen and DMAC. DMAC is part of Six Sigma approach. Kaizen is a simple, quick philosophy to improve business or continuous improvement. So I think I will have a detailed explanation for both Kaizen and DMAC in the next slides. Okay. So quickly, I will just tell you that Kaizen is something which is very quick. 1 to 2, I mean, minimum departments are being considered. And DMAC is something which data needs to be collated. I mean, it's a big time project. You need a lot number of people, you need a lot number of approvals, whereas in Kaizen it's a quick fix. Okay guys, just a simple you might be thinking that there is Lean Six Sigma, people have process excellence team who basically handle big projects, but they also have something called like they basically run an ideation process, okay? Or in some companies in Genpact, they run like kind of a renovation process as well, wherein they involve each and every associate, and they give them responsibilities, they give them awards based on their ideas shared every month, if and when it gets implemented. So this example is just what I got it from the net, is a very quick fix. It says that how by implementing quick fixes, how good improvements you can see. As you can see, the problem was that the person it needs to pack fruits in the nets which take 1 minute. Okay, it was, I mean, if you're seeing the left hand side, the before picture. Now if you see the solutions, the solution says that if you just have a container, a very quick fix, a container, it's easily for a person to add multiple fruits in a basket at one go. The benefits are the packing productivity increased by 400%. So guys, this is just a small thought, okay, a small thought which has changed to big type improvements. Now again, like when I say about packing fruits, we have other examples as well, like the case of any IT guy, okay, who is working on a system. He basically follows 10 different steps. Out of that, he finds that 2 steps are non-value added, they should be removed. Okay, and this happens every day. If you get the approach to try to identify the problems, if you change your approach towards problem solving, you will identify the non-value added activities in your process. You will share that as a Kaizen approach, and you will ask the client or your organization to remove them, which will of course lead to a great improvement in productivity. And we will also tell you at the last of the slide that how these Kaizens should be calculated, how the benefits should be calculated as well. What are the tools which we use to in Kaizen? Okay. Now this is a very simple, like this is a Kaizen chart or Kaizen table which is used, and it has a very simple information. I'm just sharing it for reference here, just to make you understand or make you fascinated that how good a project is. I mean, how big improvements can also be initiated using a simple technique called Kaizen. Okay, so here the problem was the metal AC ducts are too heavy and too difficult to install and transfer. Okay, there were some team members who were taken into who are ready to implement that. They started a date, they have a completion date. Between that, they studied all the aspects that what will be the harm in getting a plastic ducts. Okay, so the improvement from the problem was that why can't we have a plastic ducts which are like easy to transport, which are not heavy as such, so you don't need too much heavy plastering above. So in that case, they see a very good tangible benefits. The cost has been reduced. I mean, a very simple example is like 6 months ago, I was just having a construction at my home, and I realized that now they are using plastic water pipes instead of the steel water pipes, and they are equally good. Okay, so just the point is, just you should start basically calling out things. Okay, just try to break the chain, be disruptive. Yeah, so Neeraj, here we are having a few quick information about Kaizen and Leans as well. And so guys, what I will just give you a quick view about what things which we'll be covering here. Is like, it's not only about like what we have learned now is a brief overview about Kaizen. What type of Kaizen improvements can we have? Like we have seen 2 examples. In the next slides, we will be understanding about how a Kaizen, like what are the ground rules for Kaizen, what are the key attributes for Kaizen implementation, what is a Kaizen event, how you can implement a Kaizen, how you can get the benefits out of a Kaizen, how you can use a simple 7 quality tools in basically identifying the right value or right opportunities in the Kaizen. Okay, so we will covering that as well. But before that, before going into that depth, I'm just giving you a few quick brief about Kaizen, Lean Management, and Six Sigma. Okay, so the point here is that if you see Kaizen, Lean Management, Six Sigma, every company basically has this type of thought process in their organization. For Six Sigma, it's a complex process. Let's go one by one. The origin of the Kaizen is Japanese TQC and Toyota production system they have, while the Lean Management was again like they both share the same philosophies. The Six Sigma is basically a set of techniques for process improvement developed by Motorola. Now, in case of definition, if you will see, that gives you a very quick overview about what is the difference between all 3 of them. A problem-solving process with respect to Kaizen focused on eliminating waste, improving productivity, and achieving sustained continual improvement in targeted activities and processes of an organization. Now, if you see the Lean Management as well, you will see a very common aspect with respect to Kaizen, which says that focus on improving process speed and quality through reduction of process waste. That common is basically can be differentiated based on the aspect that Kaizen is a more generalized approach. The tools used by Kaizen, the implementation structure of Kaizen is more quicker than as compared to Lean. Okay. So in case of definition, focus on improving for lean management, focus on improving process speed. In case of Six Sigma, it's a disciplined, data-driven approach and methodology for eliminating defects and variations in a process. So Six Sigma project can go for like from 30 days to 90 days or more than that. Okay, that requires a lot of statistical tools, a lot of data for verifications, a lot of high approvals in case of Six Sigma. While for the quick fixes, Kaizen, you don't need much approvals. In case of the third point, program activity is driven by, it's a bottom to top approach, Kaizen, while the Lean and Six Sigma are top to bottom. When I say bottom to top approach in Kaizen is, it will start from very specific cases to generalized cases. While the Lean and Six Sigma, it starts from top down, means a very general aspect from to the very specific cases. Coming to the implementation structure, small group activities like QC circle, quality improvement team, workplace improvement team. So the component of team is very important for Kaizen. You need to have a quality improvement team. You need to have a workplace improvement team who could be like 5 to 6 people who think about disruptions, who think about changes which should be easily a part of a program. Okay. And that is part of our implementation structure for Kaizen. Whereas in case of lean management, we have problem solving and self-directed work teams are the most common types. And there are a lot of tools which we use for lean management. And I think we had a session 4 to 5 weeks back on lean, where we have discussed these tools like 5S, Kanban, Andon, just in time, data production management, etc. So the lean management tools we have already discussed in the previous session. In the Kaizen case, we will be, and also like the Kaizen tools as well, the 7 QC tools, we also had a session on that. Depending on the time, first of all, we will cover the 7 QC tools with respect to Kaizen. If time allows, we'll also go into the lean management tools like 5S, visual management. In case of Six Sigma, as I said previously, it's a DMAC, define, measure, analyze, improve, control, and a statistical approach. Okay. Developed concept utilized by, okay, as we see in the previous slide, Kaizen was given by Masaki Imai. In case of Lean, it's Womack, Jones and Roos. In Six Sigma, it's a Bill Smith and Motorola. So, I mean, Six Sigma is a very lean, both are very old methodologies which have been continuously followed by basically by the automobile companies. So whatever we seeing like Kaizen, Lean and Six Sigma, they are coming from the manufacturing sector, like Ford, Toyota. They have made their process improvised, and now similarly the service sector for the last 2 decades are also effectively using these techniques to improve their work. Can you hear me clearly, guys?
Yes.
If no,
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
we can hear you.
Thanks for your patience. We will have also a Q&A round as well, and feel free to ask your questions in that scenario. And again, we will use the chat system for that. Now, guys, I think somebody asked about Agile, Scrum, Lean, and Kaizen. So, guys, it's a detailed account of what are the similarities between both of them. And I think for the interest of time, it's not imperative to go detail into it, but I will share this slide with you as well, so you can go into that. And definitely, like if we are discussing Lean and Kaizen right now, we are definitely going in future, we'll be taking about Agile and Scrum as well. So the very important aspect of both the 4 methodologies are that if you know them, if you are a quick problem solver, you can make this an effective part of your workplace. Okay, you can make in big changes, and if you change the things, you basically gets highlighted to your management. The most important thing here is that you get highlighted to your management. Any kind of pilot projects or products which has to be tested, it comes to you because the management knows that you are a quick problem solver, and you know that's not easy to come. You have to think on that lines to how to be an expert in Lean, Kaizen, Agile, and Scrum. How you can make your teams strong. I mean, this is not only about the team manager, team leader. It's also about the associates who are working who are working, who are like 1 year or 2 years of experience, and they are looking for further promotions or a position in a leadership. These leadership positions only comes when they see that the person has some potential with respect to their thought process. He's a problem solver, he's a solution giver. So guys, just think on these patterns, take this very seriously, because I'm not sure how much will I help you in this scenario to share, to change your thought process. I believe people with experiences definitely have a solution seeking approach, but for the others who still feel that they need some more improvisations, you should study about this process and see how different type of process, similar process as similar to you, have generated productivity optimizations or quality improvement projects. So guys, coming on the Kaizen goals now. First of all, the Kaizen goal is the elimination of 8 waste, which we will read in the future slide, which is generally in the short term we call as team boots. Then we have a teamwork based, which means that train all employees. This is a very important part of Kaizen, wherein that entire management, I mean, every person of the team has to take the ownership for the Kaizen. The third part is thinking and develop strategies that assure continuous improvements involving people at all levels of an organizational hierarchy. The message of the Kaizen strategy is that not a day should pass by without some kind of improvement being made somewhere in the organization. So the goal is that we need to look for, we need to have a very keen understanding of the waste, which we will study in the next slides. We need to understand what is a value added activity, what is a non-value added activity, what is a non-value added but essential activity. In that case, when we will learn about it, we will get to know that what are we doing right now, how can we think of improving those aspects. Kaizen opportunities. So we discussed about the Kaizen goals, that what is the goals, like we need to find the waste, we need to ensure that every person in the company should be owner. Now coming on the opportunity, we need to understand that what are the opportunities exist. Opportunities means to say that where are the opportunities where you can find the waste, where you can find the non-value added activities. The first point is the increasing productivity and output. So the first thought in terms of finding opportunities for Kaizen is to find the areas where you can increase the productivity or output. Like right now, if I'm working in an IT company and I am like doing some kind of ticket processing or job processing, in that scenario, if a person is doing like 40 jobs per day or 40 items per day, how it can be increased to 70 or 100. And you know, this is a continuous activity. Every time, I think in my 10 years of experience, I have never seen that the project or the targets of a project remains stagnant. It always keeps on improving. But it doesn't mean that it adds a pressure on the people. When it keeps on improving, it basically creates ways wherein you create a better culture, you create a better platform for the people. And besides that, let's look at the aspect of this. Now we have reduced inventory, less material and labor, reduce cycle times, less time to produce goods, reduce space. So guys, there are like thousands of case studies on these aspects, on the opportunities which we are discussing. So an ideal way could be also to look for some kind of quick case studies as well. Improve on-time delivery. How you can improve the on-time delivery? Like take the example of Amazon or Flipkart. Okay, I think 5 years back, if you order something, it takes a month to come. Okay, now if you order something as a Prime member, you can get that delivery the next day. Now these are the basic reasons why people are now going for online shopping, because we have decreased the delivery time. Now a person can just wait for 24 hours and get the delivery. Okay, now still there's an app called Club Factory. It still takes 30 days. Person still avoids that because how he can wait for 30 days for a delivery unless it's superb. Now we have improved quality products and services, improve 5S, housekeeping and visual management, reduce downtime, reduce transport time and distance. So transport time, again, like You can also think about this aspect that people are traveling from different places, how you can decrease the transport time. There are different then you have decreased variation by standardizing the process. In case of transport time or distance, you can also think about, if you are seeing that people are not turning for transport, what is the reason behind that, how you can remove such kind of deficits. So now we have a quick Kaizen business strategy. Improvements, again, as we discussed before, the business strategies should be small, rapid, and utilize minimum expenditure. So whatever improvements, the opportunities which you have identified that can be have a quick fix, that should have that should be rapidly fixed. Now Kaizen implementation strategy, guys. First of all, now this is something real which you need to understand, that how a Kaizen, now you identified a problem. Okay, so guys, while I'm sharing you these opinions, can you quickly look into your current project? Can you look into your current process, and can you identify any kind of waste which you think is non-negotiable, this can be removed? And if it's like confidential, you can share some very generic things with respect to transport and other aspects. Okay, just think about it, and I think that will be beneficial, and feel free to ping in the chat, and we can also discuss around that. Like for example, I did my first Kaizen in 2014. Okay, and first of all, like in that Kaizen, it's a good example that we had a similar session like this on Kaizen, and but the change which we brought was really interesting. So initially, just sharing you a case study as well to make it more interesting, that initially we are working for a machine learning project and for a very reputed client, and the problem was that like in the Kaizen, that the person asked, that presenter asked to identify all the problems which you see in the current scenario. Even you feel that is right, still question them. Okay, so now we listed all the problems. I mean, me, my few friends, my colleagues, so like as a team of 4 people, we identified all the problems in that session. We listed all the problems, and then we tried to identify which problem has the most impact as of now. So we identified that somewhere the training is literally taking a large toll on the productivity. So the training of associates on that project was taking almost 4 months. Means to say that there is no productivity being added for 4 months. Okay, that resource is getting salary, but he is not generating any positive revenue for the company. So in that case, why it was taking 4 months? I will just give you a quick fixes. Okay, because there were certain things like we thought that this process was shared by the previous manager and this is good, let's not question them. But that Kaizen approach, basically it enforces us to question those existing scenarios. We observe that the training is poor because the quality, I mean, a person has worked for a week, after a week the quality is shared. Now the person has worked for a week, the quality comes to be 75%. You cannot make that person live. So you cannot make that person live. So now in that scenario, again you wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So what happens, that if you have a batch of 50 associates, they might take 4 months. Some might go live in like after a month, but others still keeps on hitting, and you don't have other compliance policies as well. So we do very simple things. We ensure that the quality is shared every day, the feedback is shared every day. We ensured that we made a compliance policy as well, that after 2 weeks, if a person is not meeting the accuracy, he will be moved on PIP. Believe me guys, the training was decreased from 4 weeks, from 4 months to 4 weeks, and still I think like post 4 years, it's been decreased to 2 weeks as of now. It's just like, just question the current scenarios and you will see the improvements. So the implementation strategy is discover the problems. As I said, write the problems, see which is a highly impacted activity, target them. Now you have to brainstorm solutions. Now look for the solutions on that aspect. As I said, in the training, we proposed a daily audit instead of a weekly audit. Certainly some QA bandwidth increased, but we decreased the samples to include that. Apply rapid implementation. So review that aspect every day. It's not like you review the training aspect after a month or after 2 weeks, you will lose everything. Review that every day and you will see, verify that whatever the changes you have implemented is improving or not. Now the monitor for success. In case of monitor for success, just see that that standardize that operations. Like if something, that training part is implemented, just look for standardizing it. That should be ever existing in the scenario. If suppose you came back after 6 months to verify that with the quality team or the training team, that the process is still existing or not, it should be there. So document those cases. Now, giving a very quick Kaizen event with respect to the previous scenario we discussed, that first of all, start by determining the process you want to improve. So start, think at the productivity, think at the quality, think at the cycle time, turnaround time, think at the revenues, think at the product which you are working on. Okay. Now, identify the problems, then collect baseline data. Just collect quick data around it, which is easily available. That what are the scenarios, where are we on productivity, quality, TAT, and everything. Identify team members, get some team members, get some from quality, from training team, from planning team who are really good at their numbers. Okay, then facilitate the event. Facilitate the event means that create some process chart. Create a process chart means what is the current scenario. So when you create a process chart, which you will also see in the next few slides, that when you create a process chart, create the current state. And when you create the current state, means to say that the state means that how every step is being performed. Create a process chart and then study what are the value added or non-value added activities in it. Okay, then document standard workflows. After facilitating the event, document standard workflows, then educate and train staff. See, these things cannot be performed by you alone. If you want to implement something, like in case of training, you need to inform the team members, the new team members, that all 50, you have these timelines. You will be evaluated every day. Your productivity will be evaluated every hour. Your quality will be evaluated every 4 hours. Okay, so inform them, get people on board, set the go live date. Now, when you have worked around everything, first of all, that is very important aspect. Identify all the scenarios, see the challenges. If you are okay with it, get the go ahead from the management as well, and set the go live date. Implement the new process. So after a quick pilot, implement the new process, monitor progress, sustain continuous improvement. So this is one quick Kaizen. You can take it for training, you can take it for quality improvement, for productivity improvement. You can just see that the client might come to you and say that, okay, the people are taking so much time. I want that you should ask them to process one document in 60 seconds instead of 120 seconds. So give me some basic changes which you want to see. So before he asks, you can still go and see that how can you bring the average handling time from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. Just see some quick fixes. Okay. Okay, now coming on value and non-value added activities. The idea behind sharing this value and non-value added activities is to basically see our process and identify the waste. Okay, we will have a detailed discussion on waste as well. Now, value adding activity is activity that transforms or shapes material or information to meet customer requirements. So guys, I think we all work for our clients, we all work for a product. Okay, and anything which is contributing to the product, okay, that's a value added activity. The step must change the form or function of the product or service. The customer must be willing to pay for the change. If you came up with a certain idea, in that scenario it's pretty expensive, but there is no improvement in any key performance indicators. Okay, there is no improvement, so nobody will take that. So always try to identify aspects which has some impact. The step must be performed correctly the first time. Non-value adding activity, those activities that take time. Okay, now that non-value, those activities that take time, resources or space, but do not add to the value of the product itself. We have some examples as well in the next slide where we will quickly understand about the value added and the non-value added activity. It also says that it should be reduced or eliminated. So in non-value adding activity, there are two types. One is essential. I mean, that has to be done. I mean, if you are going to a bank to open an account, you have to fill a form. Filling a form is a non-value added activity, but it's an essential activity which you cannot ignore. But if there is a line, if there are like 20 people ahead of you, that is a waiting time. If the bank opens one more window for account opening, perhaps that waiting time will be reduced. That's where you can see that's a non-value added activity which can be easily removed. Now to determine if an activity is value added, you need to ask these questions. Okay, is the customer paying for this activity? To identify if this is a value add. Does this activity affect the form, fit, or function of the product? Product means it could be a software. Product means it could be a product which is made by a company. It could be any products. It could be a soap as well. Okay. Now non-value added work is like reevaluate, recall, redesign, retype. So guys, when just to quickly inform you that when I was part of a quality team, the client said that quality is a liability. Okay. Now I was very passionate about quality, and when he told me that quality is a liability and we need to remove it, we need to decrease the quality team as less as we can. So then a thought came to me that why are people committing so much errors that we need a quality team? Why we are adding some kind of something above the productivity aspects that is basically taking more revenues out of the organization. So we will discuss on that as well. And fine. So a very quick example. There are a lot of examples with this scenario on the net as well, and this has been taken from there. Procedure step in making a bank deposit. First of all, you drive to the bank. It takes 10 minutes. That's a non-value added activity. Wait in line 5 minutes. Non-value added activity. Complete transaction 1 minute. It's a value added because that's the thing which you want to, because you want to like do something with respect to your bank account. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Yes, we can hear.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. We also have some quick quiz rounds as well. And so the complete transaction 1 minute, drive home 10 minutes. So guys, every day when you are working on any kind of thing, just think in that scenario that if you remove drive to the bank, wait in line, drive home, you will remove 96% of a waste. So a very quick trick is install the applications of that banks and do a quick 1 minute work. Okay. I mean that came after a long time. I mean, that requires a lot of approach if they have decided to remove those non-value added activities. But this comes a step-by-step approach. Like you see the wait in line 5 minutes. So in terms of Kaizen, you can see that how we can decrease these 5 minutes. Do we need more windows? Okay. Or are we very far away from the population? Should we go and have a bank close to the population? In that case, people have a decreased travel time. So that is something which can reduce the NVA. I am placing my order for okay, guys, this is a quick example of making you understand about the value added and the non-value added activities. And this really gives a very good aspect that while you work, while a product is being ordered, how you see the value added and the non-value added activities. So step 1, the customer places order over the internet. The order takes 3 minutes. That's a value added. That's required, mandatory. Now step 2, producer processes orders material from suppliers. 15-minute value added means he ordered everything. He evaluated whether the product is available or not. That took 15 minutes. 2 weeks lead time is something which should be taken into account. Then we have step 3, supplier ships material. Now to make a product, that company will order the product like the ingredients or the instruments from the supplier. So the supplier will ship the material, which will take 2 days. That's again a non-value added activity. Production of custom widget. I mean, that entire, you can see the assembly line. They are making that product. it again take 1 hour of value added, 10 days queue time, because others people have also ordered, so that the queue time is there. Like you order a car, it comes after 1 month. That is basically a non-value added time. Now if you see the step 4 is done, step 5, 100% inspection, 10 minutes each. So every point, if you see, if step 5, 100% inspection is required, okay, that's also a non-value added activity. Sorry for that, just give me a moment. Yeah, so inspection. So how the companies take care of the inspection part? They ensure that the products are less defective. Initially they go for a 100% inspection. They reduce the inspection from 90 to 20 to 5%. That way they work on the non-value added activity. It's still there, but that volume decreased. If you look at the 6th scenario, inventory, storage, packaging, shipping, it's 10 minutes required for packaging, but 2 days queue time is there. Then you see the 7th step, manufacturer ships. That shipping again required 2 days. Now step 8, customer receives product 30 days after order. Just assume this and verify this information with Amazon or Flipkart. Just think that how hard they have worked to reduce every non-value added activity. Like they are opening centers across India to ensure that the product, that the transport time should be less. Okay, they have a very proper forecasting mechanism, through which they are having a very strong pull method, so that they know how many products we need during this month, that the rainy season is coming, so we need how many umbrella, how many raincoats. So guys, it's a scenario which tells you how to identify the non-value added activity and how to work on it. So Emma says, based on this example given, we can certainly give work from home as a mandate option for employees. Of course, I mean the companies are looking for it, but the challenge is that they have already leased their places for like a decade or something. So that's the challenge with them. I think companies which are just entering, they have a huge benefit with respect to this. And Neeraj, I will certainly look into this and will share you more details in the next slides. Okay, guys, a very small quiz time. Just please share your inputs in the chat box. Cutting the wood using blade. Okay, is it a value added or non-value added? Just please ping in the chat box. If it's value add, write VA. It's a non-value add, writes NVA. Yeah, guys, please. I think there are a lot of people here. Please share your thoughts on this.
I'm sorry, what's your question there? Okay, identify.
The question is, yeah.
Of course, it's
yeah, I can see a lot of diverse answers. Shams VA, Neeraj VA, Shoaib VA, Sumik NVA, Inayat VA, Putra NVA. Great guys. So see, from the definition of the value-added activity, you have seen that if a product form is being changed, that is something that is a value-added activity. Here, if the cutting the wood using a blade, it means that wood is part of some box which is being made. So that's a value-added activity because it's changing the form of a product. Okay, moving on to the second question. Collecting customer feedback. Okay, yeah. Collecting customer feedback. Is it a value-added or a non-value-added activity? Just think on those lines, that is it important for the customer? Is it good for the company? Great, I can see a lot of VAs. Thank you guys. It's a value-added activity. Thank you so much. Now coming on the 3 M's. Now we have seen the value add and the non-value add. In the value add, that's really, we all need the value add activities, but if you want to remove the non-value added activities, you need to work on 3 M's. That 3 M's are Muda, Mura, and Muri. Okay, a quick image is there at the bottom, which says Muda is wastefulness, Mura is imbalance, and Muri is overload. Okay, so in
Yeah, we are not getting your voice.
Very, in a very generic sense, if I describe Muri, means that if a person is technically
I can't hear you.
no value. So guys who are
Mr. Abdullah, your voice is breaking actually.
who are facing challenges with respect to the audio, I will request you to log in again. When I have, like in the previous webinars, when I had this issue, I used to do that and it helped. Yeah, yes in the chat box if you can, because I can see people are facing issues. Okay, so waste is any human activity which absorbs resources but creates no value. Okay, that is a waste, like standing in a queue, standing like filling up forms, going to school but waiting for the bus. That's a muda. Mura is something, it's a again in muda is the major portion of the waste which we will be discussing in the next few slides. And in muda we call it quickly as Tim would, which is transport, inventory, motion, waiting time, production, over processing, and cycles, or irregularity, or the variation. If you see a variation in the productivity or the accuracy, that you can attribute to Mura as well. So these are 3 M's, and we will also discuss about Muda in the next few slides. And whenever you are trying to identify a non-value added activity, just first of all identify the non-value added activity, then identify the 3 M's. Okay, because the 3 M's have different approaches as well. Okay, now when you identify the 3 M's, you need to identify if it is Muda, what type of waste it is. If it is Muri will have a different solution. If a person is working 15 hours a day, it means that you need one more guy to help that guy. Okay, so you need one more person to basically for load sharing. So in that way, I'm saying that Muda, Mura, and Muri have different type of solutions as well. So you need to identify the categories and the subcategories of waste. This is a Muda overview, but I'm not sure if people using the mobile phones will be able to see things clearly. But it will just give you a view of Timwood. Team is transport. T is transportation, means that moving items or information. Let the waste, like if I ordered a product, that company, in order to make a product, ordered for the other sub products, that transportation time could be part of a waste. Second aspect is inventory, items or information that customer has not received. Means to say that if you have a lot inventory, you are using a lot of space within your premises, that might be costing you more money. That is where you see a waste in terms of inventory. We will be discussing more relevant examples in the next slide as well. With respect to motion, excessive movement within workspace, like
Not able
suppose
to hear.
if a very simple example, one of my directors who used to work in Australia, he went there and he told me that you need to basically remove small, yes, okay, so he says that you need to remove small rocks in your path, and while you're doing that, you are basically making more of the path clear to walk. Okay, means to say that if a person is working on a bank, the responsibility is that he is sitting on a chair, but he also needs to take a printout, and the printer is like 10 meters left of him. So every time when he needs to take a printout, he needs to go 10 minutes there, come back, again go back for the printout. That's something you can see that 10 minutes, that 10 meters distance which a person does might be 100 times a day, can be reduced with respect to motion. So now when you're thinking about that, just think of a motion waste. With respect to waiting time, waiting for information or items to arrive, that's a waiting time. Like if I say that product will come after 30 days, that's a waiting time. Or you require products to be made and you're waiting for the ingredients, that's a waiting time. The final part is the we are now over processing, doing more work than necessary. I mean, repetitive quality checks are a kind of over processing. Okay, requiring, like if you are filling a form for HDFC, you need to sign 54 times. I remember you need to sign 54 times in a simple bank form. Okay, that's something like over processing aspect where you need to sign multiple times. Overproduction, doing work before it is needed. Okay, means that you are producing things in large amount. I mean, just go to a bakery and see if you have a lot of cake being made and things are not sold with that rate. In that case, that's an overproduction. Defects we all know, we all have been penalized in our professional life with respect to defects, that you, if you commit an error while processing a document, ticket, job, calls, you get a defect. Okay, skills, not using workers to fullest of abilities. A person who is a software guy is being used in a non-technical aspect, kind of one of a non-skilled aspect. If a person who is expert in finance is being used in a content moderation, that's something kind of a non-skilled aspect. Okay, so guys, now coming on to more relevant aspect. Okay, with respect to the waste, and now you will try to identify these aspects very clearly with respect to your work. Waste, the waste protection bill in that, which we last saw about transportation. Okay, when we look at the BPO, I think most of India is working on outsourcing aspects. Okay, so what could be a transportation based? It could be like searching for process flow. Okay, process flow means that you got a client, he wants to understand the process, so you need to ask someone who made a process flow 1 year back. You are finding that person. That's a basically waste. If you can just create a drive where you have all the informations, that's an easy way to remove that kind of waste. SOPs, other information for access, need to move from seat to get information, access to forms for data entry. So guys, just before moving on that, I will just give you a quick overview about this. Let's see how just see about Kaizen. Okay, so
Mr. Abdul, your voice is breaking
have joined after most of the, like, sorry,
Your voice is
I'm saying
breaking.
voice is breaking sometime
sorry,
actually.
Shoaib, I cannot
It's not.
hear you.
I'm saying actually sometimes your voice is breaking in between the session.
Okay, I will try to.
Yeah, even the video is also stuck.
Okay,
Video
so
is
Shoaib, I
not.
will try to move. No, it's not played, so I will try to move more slowly. Okay, so for people who have joined just now, a quick overview about Kaizen using a video which is available on YouTube. Yeah, so thanks for Lean Vlog for making a quick video on this. So yeah, so guys, I think hope it is clear for the people who have just joined about what is Kaizen and what are the aspects which we have discussed previously. Now discussing about a specific waste with respect to the BPO mapping in which like most of us work. In that scenario, if you look at this, BPO mapping in case of transportation is basically process flow, SOPs, other information for access need to move from C to get information. Like people need to move from C to get the information instead that we used to have, that we should have some basic repositories to address that kind of wasteful issues. Sources, lack of proper workplace organization, lack of optimization of floor layout, temporary storage and filling. So these are the sources which are the reason for those type of waste. And I think it's pretty common that we actually ignore this type of habits and we easily look for people and for the information. Instead, if we work on this, that can be easily implemented. The second part is the waste of inventory, stockpiling or manufacturing more than requirement. The BPO mapping in terms of BPO says that calls not closed in the first attempt, transactions in personal queues partially completed. So that is something where you have a lot of volume which is not yet processed, and that might cause your TAT to get impacted. And every company has a target, like you need to have a 90% turnaround time to complete that call or a product, so that will get impacted. The reasons why it happens is because incorrect scheduling, stories, unneeded data, or obsolete files or training. A very common example could be that you have people like you have a holiday coming like Christmas. Okay, people go on leave. In that case, if people go on leave, if you have the same inventory volume, what will happen? You will see a stocking of inventories. You can see a stocking of documents or jobs or tickets. So in that scenario, you need to basically do a proper planning to address that issue. In the case of waiting time, waiting for people, material, response, data, information, waiting for answer from agent, being in the call queue for getting information, waiting for approvals. So again, waiting for approval is one of the major issues with respect to waiting time, mostly with the government offices. And again, the issues are absenteeism because of like our MD is absent, so you cannot get the approval today, or queuing of work, information, high TAT, cycle time, tag time. These are the reasons behind the wasting time. So we have covered 3 aspects, which is transportation, motion, inventory, and waiting time, 4. Okay, now coming on the second aspect, the rest aspects of the teamwork, the waste of over processing, providing more than what the customer want. So guys, just give you a very quick brief about that. Every company, like why we say that you need to keep a shrinkage, means the absenteeism should not go more than 10%. Because if the absenteeism goes more than 10%, you cannot process the volumes which are shared by the client or which are like self-produced. So that is the reason you need to understand that your production, your waiting time will get impacted, okay, if you are not controlling shrinkage and other aspects. Coming on the this waste of over processing, providing more than what the customer wants, wasteful or non-value add activities in the process flow, sources, ineffective planning, sequencing, over checking. There's something called over processing. We also see the over processing from the people. Like suppose an associate, he needs to do 20 documents a day, but he can only do 10. Now if you try to identify the root cause, a very important aspect of Kaizen is to identify the root cause of the problem, and for that you need to use the 5 why. We have slides for 5 why as well. So for that 5 why, you need to understand what is the reason why that person is taking so much time. So now when you sat with that person, you observe that his accuracy is good, his thought process is good. The problem is that he's doing over processing, means to say that he's doing too much research which is not required. He's going to certain portals which is not required as part of the review or action process. So that cause the impact on the over processing. Now, and that is important to all of us. Okay, the waste of overproduction, producing too much or producing earlier than required, giving more information that needed in calls, filling in information not used in form. That is something called overproduction. Just thinking, expanding scope, work allocation, waste of defect. Everyone knows that if you are part of a calling process, if you get a DSAT, that's a problem, that's a defect. You need to clear that. The problems why it arises is because of the skill level. People are not skilled. Hiring quality, the people are hired are not adapted to that work. Training quality, adequacy in defined process. So guys, these are like why I took more time in the defects, because you need to understand that how to identify those areas around you. So again, a very quick quiz time, guys, around Teamwood. If you understand the previous scenario, just help me with the answers. Retyping the information, what is it? What kind of waste is it? No. You have to tell me with respect to Teamwood. Is it transport? Is it inventory? Is it motion? Is it waste? Is it waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, or defects? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a defect. Great. No. This is a part of a defect because you are redoing the work which you have already done, and that is a defect. Now the other part is storing excess inventory in the warehouse, like this one. What can be a defect in this scenario? Oh, sorry, I shared the answer, guys. So Neeraj, why it cannot be over processing? Because that's part, if a person has processed a document that has an error and now he is retyping it because of an error. In case of over processing, means to say that he is working more than what is required. Hope it is clear. The second part is inspection of raw material. Guys, what kind of waste it could be? Why we require to inspect the raw material? Okay, just to help you with the answer is inventory and waiting at the bus stop. What kind of waste it is, guys? Look at the Teamwood, identify that you are waiting for the bus. Waiting at the bus stop will be a transportation. Okay. Now quickly moving on to the ground rules or 10 commandments of Kaizen. Neeraj, overprocessing, the flow overprocessing. Yeah, I doubt it could be part of it. Okay, thank you guys for your answer. Probably we can include both those cases in it. Overprocessing as well as with respect to the inventory issues as well. And now coming on to the ground rules or 10 commandments of Kaizen. So guys, we have less time, good time to understand the aspect. Probably we will not cover iOS and other kind of tools which we use in Linux, but
Mr. Abdullah, your voice is breaking. We are unable to hear you.
Yeah, we are unable to hear you.
Yeah. Is it audible? Can you hear me?
No, sir. Still, there is an issue in the voice. I believe the voice is breaking. Not able to understand the points. I believe there is a network issue. So that's the reason the voice is breaking.
Yeah, and you probably cannot suggest. Can he can join through LAN using, not Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think he's trying to resolve that issue. Please be. Please, let's wait for him.
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, thank you. I just switched to hotspot. I hope it is better. So yeah, uh, just quickly sharing the ground rules around the Kaizen or continuous improvement, that you need to question the status quo. You need to be free of away from the preconceived notions. You think of ways to make it possible. A very easy or a very big challenge for some of the people are that they don't think of the solution. Okay, that needs to be changed. Instead of telling people that what they shouldn't do, it is better to think about how it could be done. Okay, a very positive aspect is required in this scenario. Seek simple solutions. Okay, it's not matter of for looking for perfection. Perfection is impossible. Kaizen aims at a 60 to 70% solution, which is good enough. Okay, correct the mistake right away. uh, Whenever you see any challenges, just try to build a quick solution around it and correct that mistakes. Don't let the magic moment pass, because if you wait for that, it might be that you can see another error followed by that. Always attack processes, never people. So guys, it's never attack people, talk about process. If you see any solutions, look around the process which can be improved. Many people tend to assume that the main cause of the bad functioning of machines or any other problem is the worker. However, why analysis for finding out the root cause always reveal system or process deficiencies. I have a very good example on this aspect as well, that how 5Y shares you that what is the actual reason behind the delay if a person is going to an office. Just look at the left hand side, the very first example, which says that a problem is a person who ran through a red light. The first Y says that he was getting late for work, so he was driving fast. Second Y is he woke up late, so he was going quickly to office. The third Y says that the alarm clock broke. Why he got late? Because the alarm clock broke. So the idea behind 5Y is to identify the exact issues with the process, okay, or with the problem. So in this case, we see if a person is late for office, he ran a red light, he woke up late because the alarm clock broke, he could not wake up quickly, then didn't check it if it worked. So the last day, if it like before sleeping, he didn't verify whether the alarm clock is working or not. Okay, because of that problem, the person could not reach the office and he has been fined. Okay, so the answer over here is that you can see that the person has a problem, but that can be attributed to an alarm clock. If that has been working, the person would not have been late. Okay, takeaway quotation is from Edward Hornaday: if you don't ask the right questions, you don't get the right answers. A question asked in the right way often points to its own answer. Asking questions is the ABC of diagnosis. Okay, only the inquiring mind solves the problems. The sixth is use creativity, not capital. Don't get hopeless if the company says, okay, we cannot put up such expenses. So look for creative solutions. Problems are opportunities in disguise. Still people might be thinking that why Kaizen? Okay guys, we have seen Kaizen, lean, we have seen Six Sigma. Kaizen is still a very quick fix. You can change the aspects in an organization, you can sell yourself, you can make a good name for yourself as for the product. Then you need to find the root cause, as we discussed in the previous slide. Then wisdom of many, not the knowledge of one, means to say that it's good if the Kaizen is done with a team. Okay, do a brainstorming with the team and you will definitely get good solutions. This is mostly applicable for associates, team leaders who are working and who knows what is done on the ground. There is no final destination on the improvement journey. This is a key to Kaizen. You have to keep on thinking ways. There is always something which can be improved. Remember, continuous improvement in the organization is everyone's responsibility. Together, we can achieve the excellence. So these are the ground rules, which are very specific. You need to about the thought process. Now about what is the project selection criteria, which should have been taken. Okay, so in case of the project selection, how shall we identify a project in our process or product? Kaizen project selection rate the following factors in terms of their importance in selecting a good Kaizen project for this class. First of all, you need to identify multiple projects, multiple problems. Now look at the problems as absolutely critical or especially important or ordinary or unimportant. It's like kind of an AEIOU kind of a vowels, just an easier way to understand how you need to classify the problem. And it's always imperative that go for the absolutely critical. Okay, again, the problem can be well defined and be solvable. Projects can be completed on time. You need to think on these lines as well, that how big is the project, can it be part of a Kaizen or a Six Sigma? Okay, because if you're initiating it, you need to understand that whether it has a quick fix or it requires some statistical tools or a long-term plan. Process owners welcome change and want to be actively involved. You and your team are empowered to make changes. Data information needed is easily available. For Kaizen, process improvements are measurable. Problem requires a solution that affect many people. Innovation is not required. Above point can also be translated as questions before starting the project. Not very important. I think most of us know these things. Moving on the Kaizen implementation, how you are going to implement the Kaizen. First part is to discover the problem, brainstorm the solutions, apply rapid implementation, monitor for success. This we need to follow in the implementation strategy, standardize the solutions and plan for future. This is a 6 step process you need to follow in every Kaizens. Out of it, the first part, discover, just have a quick overview of the discover the problem, brainstorm to identify the problem area using AEIOU scale, the previous scale where we see that A is absolutely critical. So identify the problem in that scale. Clearly identify businesses, processes, or area to focus improvements on where bottlenecks, high cost exist. Just look for the areas. You can look for the key performance indicators if they are not right. Perform current state process analysis through value stream mapping, time and motion studies, video measurements, interview with employees, collect process data, stand and observe the process. Mostly what happened, Kaizen is done in a process where is that they form a team on the workplace itself. They discuss all the scenarios, they discuss the current state, they create a value stream mapping. Value stream mapping was covered in the lean session, and time and motion studies too was covered as well. So I mean, interview with employees, they can tell you the problems and you can easily identify the problem. Identify value added, non-value added, but necessary and waste. Brainstorm solutions is something where you reviewed with the people, you get some surveys, now you understand the problem. This step, the second step, is to look for solutions. How? It's like define ideal future state map for the targeted process, what it should be without any or with minimum waste. Justify improvement benefit in safety, quality, customer and financial impact. It's very important that whatever solutions you are looking for, it can be quantified, because if it cannot be quantified, no one will be there to work for it. Find solutions to and take a consensus on best, quickest, and the one with the minimum or no investment. That's the beauty of Kaizen, that you should be creative and you should not involve maximum investment.
Monitor for success. This is the third step. We completed the brainstorming solution. Then we had the first of all discover the problem, brainstorm solutions. Then we have monitor for success, analyze the past versus current state performance based on data. If in the previous scenario, like we see in the case of that lady packing the fruits in a bag, initially it was taking 30 seconds, now she's like initially she was taking 1 minute, now she's taking 30 seconds. So that past and current state can tell you what is the difference, is there any improvements or not. Train employees, the employees should be trained as well. Reflect and learn from the process, what we did right and what we did wrong, how to improve in future. I mean, a learning should always be taken from a project. Apply rapid implementation. This is the 4 point. Involve employees and perform Kaizen events. Kaizen events map I showed you previously. Apply problem solving and analysis plan, do, check, act. Define and prioritize solutions. These are quick fixes as part of an implementation plan, where you plan, do, check, act is a process similar to what we have discussed about identifying problems, brainstorming solutions. It is a part of that. And when I say define and prioritize solutions, it is again absolutely critical. A problem should be taken up first. Perform actions to get from current state to future state. Assign ownership. So guys, I think it's too much knowledge, but these are really beneficial terms which I'm sharing, and that cannot be left. So please be with me on this. Perform actions to get from current state to future state. Assign ownership. Ownership should be well assigned among the people. Execute and follow up on agreed actions. That's about the investment. That's about the implementation part. Once the things are implemented, you need to standardize the process. As I told you about the training part, you need to standardize, you need to document those aspects, that how things be done, what is the timeline, when you need the reviews, when you need, how much sampling should be done, how many people should be part of one training session. Everything has to be done. That is part of this process. Educate the staff, keep monitoring, and keep looking for new opportunities for improvement. So guys, this is about the basic information around the scenario, and I have other aspects such as flow chart, pictorial representation showing all types of a process. So why I'm discussing about flow chart here, I will go back and tell you about here. Apply rapid implementation as well as monitor for success. When you need to understand the past and current state, you need to create a flow chart or a process map for it. That's where you build up the process map for each phases and understand what is value added and what is non-value added in it. And then about you will have Pareto, I mean part of a 7 quality tools, you will have check sheets, you will have Ishikawa diagram. Okay, that is something where you can easily identify the problem. So for the problem area, I mean this area, discover the problem, you need to use the quality tools to identify the problem and how the solutions should be put forward. So this is about flow chart. Why use it? As I told you, defining and analyzing process. So what I will do is I will quickly take you through the Excel, where we have some basic information around the flow chart and what type of charts we create. These are the flow chart examples. We have the icons which should be used to identify to start of the process to end of the process. Cause and effect. Guys, so I'm just rushing through this, but I will go to Excel and I will explain you in detail as well. Cause and effect. The cause and effect diagram is also called the fishbone chart. You might have seen some fishbone chart in your organizations as well, which consists of 6 M's. It basically makes a category of the problems in the current process, like man, problems with respect to man, machine, methods, materials, or measurement. It somehow looks like this. When I say about this flow chart, it is about a missing deadline. Okay, missing deadline of a product, and with that respect you can see the problems, the attributions with respect to each category are mentioned. So if you look at people scenario, which is on the top left side, you can see micromanaging boss, absent secretary, sick children. These are the basic reasons. This is a very generalized statement. So it helps us to identify issues with respect to each categories which is around us. Bad burgers, again, you can create something around bad burgers. What is the problem? Like, was the material not correct? Was it not fresh? Was the packaging was unhygienic? In case of personal, you can see it is mishandling, unhygienic storage, it might turn sour. So these are the attributes which needs to be part of the fishbone diagram. I'm not going in very detail as of now because this has been previously covered. And Pareto, we have previously seen these scenarios. Here you identify the major defect, because you know that 20% of the problems are contribute to 80% of the defects. That where we will use Pareto. And now coming on this aspect, guys, I show this one of the this Kaizen chart to you previously as well, and this is one such aspect, and I will quickly explain you that how when you start a project, how you need to mention the problem, how you need to go for the solutions, how you need to follow the ground rules. So here I have a quick Kaizen report. Okay, now in the Kaizen report we see you need to write the subject, I mean the business case, like which process you are working for. You need to address the area, location. It's a quick Excel based sheet which you need to fill. You need to mention the process or project, department, initial condition. Now here you can mention the condition, the problems attributed to your current process. It could be a training, quality problem, inventory problem. It should be mentioned here. It should be a solution description should be here. What are the solutions you have done? What is the before picture? You can just create the fishbone diagram. You can create, you can share the flow chart. In the after case, you can share the next flow chart in the current state. Okay, now you have the benefits category. Now you can mention here that what are the benefits you have seen with respect to each of the key performance indicators, whether the quality has improved, cost has improved, and the benefits description. Now it should be approved. When you see the originated, it should be the person who has come up with the idea. Validated means the team leader or the manager. Approved might be the client, and contact details. So guys, this is a very quick sheet which all you can use with your organization to quickly identify the problems, put the problems in an organized manner along with the solutions, and share it with your manager if you came across any of such thoughts. And this is something same pattern where people have made something, they have reduced the waste. So a quick overview of how Kaizen has helped. Initially, yeah, of course, design thinking techniques helps in Kaizen. It's a very kind of foundational aspect with respect to design thinking. They use Scamper as well in design thinking, which is also a part of a Kaizen. In case of problem description, you can see grinding wheels were getting mixed up with the flap wheel and cutting wheels. Searching it was consuming a lot of time. So the end product here is the 30% time. You can see the picture. When you sorted the things in order, 30% time was reduced. When you see both the pictures, you can see a haphazard items placed. The next is a very, again in this case, the searching time was reduced by 50%. This is with respect to the manufacturing aspects. You can also think with respect to in this aspect as well. The pipes, they are kept together, difficult to find out. Stockout situations were reduced by 63%. These are some common examples which I'm sharing with you, which have bigger impact on and quick fixes without requiring any kind of cost. Kaizen benefit calculation. This is an important aspect, guys. How do you calculate the Kaizen benefit? Now, when you see that, you see a non-value added activity, you need to remove that. Okay. Now, when you go to your manager, he will ask what is the benefit. So it's advisable that before you go to your manager or the approver, identify the benefits which are due because of that. For example, check this scenario. This is a before scenario where a person is packing the boxes. So that box cover is placed 180-degree back. Okay, so the person has to move and he has to take the covers and pack the boxes. Now the time taken to pack one box was 45 seconds. Now, if you need to identify if a person is packing one box in 45 seconds in a day, we have 8-hour shift. How much boxes will he pack? So you can see that the formula for production per shift is shift hours into production per hour, which will be 640. So this is the target which a person has. He has to complete 640. He has to cover 640 boxes per day. Now, in the next scenario, a person thought of a change. He questioned the logic. He came out with a solution. And then what is he? He moved that cover in front of him. Now he don't need to move back. Now the change, you can see that the time taken to pack one box has decreased from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. A 15-second reduction. Now a person can do a person can pack 960 boxes in a day instead of 640. Now this is the 50% improvement in productivity reported. Now if you will annualize this investment for the entire year, it will be too much. Okay, somewhere this person can do a 1/3 of a work, 1/4 of a work for the other person as well. This example can be easily utilized with respect to your interface. Like when you are working on your interface, just look for quick solutions. You might be scrolling down to identify that problem 90% of the time. Why can't that thing which is presently mentioned at the bottom of the interface and you need to scroll down, if you move that up, that information, you don't need to scroll down again and again. That will save your time. Your average handling time might decrease from 50 to 40 or 45. I'm just giving a very simple examples, and believe me, we have thousands of examples which we receive every year, and with correct benefits, if we see that hundreds of them get implemented. And when you get them implemented, that person is being rewarded, that person gets some credits in his account, and that person is always looked forward that this person has a quick, this person questions the status quo, he has no preconceived notions, he has a good thought process, he should be basically molded to future aspirations, future solutions as well. So guys, just think about it. And benefits calculation is an important aspect which you should do always. Kaizen tips is improve your business with continuous improvement. Some just tips for it, just for before closing the session. Effective lean business, use Kaizen and drive it top down. Sorry, it should be bottom up. 100 small gradual improvements are much better than one big improvement. Okay, so just small improvements, it contributes to the bigger improvement. Recognize success, never give up. Evaluation is not required. I'm not going into this because we should go for questions aspect. So if I think any people have questions with respect to these scenarios where they want to understand about how to build a fishbone diagram, how to evaluate Pareto aspects, okay, how to identify the 80% of the problems, sorry, 20% of the major problems, how to create a flow chart. This, we have symbols over here, we have an example over here as well regarding a movie ticket, that you want to see a movie but the movie ticket is $50, but if you have less than 50 you can go for a circus. So these are the scenarios why you need a flow chart as well. These are very quick examples for check sheet as well. So for your reference, this can be shared to you as well, which you can use effectively for your solutions. So guys, thank you so much for your time, and this is time for questions. Generally what happens, the Kaizen is generally a 3-hour or a 4-hour scenario. It goes on, but due to lack of time, I tried to cover the major aspects of Kaizen, and hope it was beneficial.
Mr. Abdullah, I need a favor. Chat, will you able to share these things with me?
Absolutely, we'll share that.
I'll try to chat my invite. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Hi, Abdullah.
Yes.
Abdullah Nizam here. What do you suggest to practice the examples and the projects kind of thing? Because the people who work for process-oriented organizations, we can't do any experiments with the work which we are going on, but we will try out of the box for our learning. But what do you suggest that, to improve ourselves and to be in touch with the subject, whatever you are teaching? And beautifully, I really appreciate the way you have take us through the lean methodologies and the repetition of the few of the things of lean methodologies today. It gives a lot of insights to us. But what do you suggest to be in touch with that, to kind of practicing and all?
Okay, yeah, see, so I will just give a very quick example with respect to this. So what happens, like we saw in the organization that the ideas have been drying up. People are not sharing examples. Okay, people are not coming up with good observations. The problem was they are not being told so. So what happens, we have quick sessions with the people. We try to make their environment in such a way that every time when they see around, they see some kind of positive thinking, they see some kind of reimagine projects, something like that. So when you are continuously surrounded by that kind of thoughts, you keep on thinking in those lines. And mostly this comes when you have a problem. If you don't have a problem, these things are like will not really come up. So whenever you are seeing any kind of problems, just try to quantify it and try to get a quick solutions for them. And every organization has problems, hundreds of problems, believe me. It's just like we have preconceived notions around it, that if a training is continued for 6 months, okay, fine, let it continue for 6 months, while it can be done in 1 month. But we are afraid to challenge the status quo.
I completely agree with you, Abdullah. See, after your lean methodology, I tried myself for a couple of things, which I do, and absolutely, I got a lot of improvements in that. But my, question is how I want to be in touch with the subject. Basically, do you have any of the tools to practice it, or do you have any of the projects online, or any of the websites which I can go and which I can read it, I can do the practice on these concepts. What you are teaching now?
Yes. So I shared you an example in the previous few slides with respect to the BPO. Okay, so these informations, what I have seen is there are informations available, like suppose in case, for example, if you are seeing that the capacity, the waiting time has increased, for example, I'm just sharing an example, the waiting time has increased, or you see that the productivity of the people are not right, or the quality is not right. So if you go on online, you search for Kaizen solutions, you will see that with respect to each BPO problems, they have listed the tools. Like they said that when you need 5S, they said when you need visual management, okay, when you need floor change. So like with respect to sitting as well, we observe that we don't need sitting in such a manner. People are spread in all the 3 shifts in a manner where we are consuming more space. And when we reworked on it, we find that okay, 50% of the space can be reduced. So with respect to now, if you see something on sitting, go for the visual management aspect or the 5S aspect. There you will understand how the scenarios work, and the net is full, have a lot of information around the problems which we face right now. If you just type productivity issues and solutions with Kaizen, so it will share you the very specific tools and easy tools which you can easily implement. For example, Pareto, 7 quality tools we call as Pareto. Now we have identified 10 types of error. It's not possible to work on those all 10, but if we observe the major impacting areas, it's easy for us to identify, share it to the respected teams and get it sorted. So a very simple aspect can be used. Don't go for very high cases, because when you have bigger issues, you need Six Sigma, where you need some statistical and hypothesis testing, other kind of aspects, which you don't need to. Just go for the 7 quality for simple cases which you have.
Okay. Thanks, Abdullah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We can connect anytime for more updates on this.
Hey, Abdullah.
Yes.
Abdullah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, Neeraj, I can hear you.
Abdullah, first of all, thanks for giving a beautiful session. It was very useful for us. Quick question. I mean, this is actually posted in the group also, so that is what I'm slightly concerned with. So I'm not able to understand. Can you give me some business examples where you tell, okay, this is exactly where we use Lean and this is where exactly we use Kaizen? I'm not able to differentiate that part slightly, so that is where I'm slightly stuck. Apart from that, everything is
Okay. So I think, Neeraj, in the 5th or 7th slide, I have one table which
Yeah, I
explains
saw that. I saw that. I was there, but still I couldn't connect. Can you give me some business examples where we tell that okay, this is a situation where yes, we don't have an option. You have to go with lean. This is an option where you have to go with Kaizen. I was not able to figure out it.
Okay. So I think Neeraj, I think we both know each other, so probably we can connect after the session, and we can definitely discuss in detail on that scenario.
Sure.
Will that be all right?
No worries. No worries.
Thank you so much, guys. Any other questions?
So, Mr. Abdullah, some of the technique you mentioned, value stream mapping, 7 quality tools, I see these are being used in the Six Sigma also. And
Yes.
this is
The
being
problem
used here also. So I see some of the overlapping here and there. So it, as you told, it is just kind of a quick problem solving, right? Kaizen is used for that, right?
Yes. So should the reason why I am taking up these sessions only instead of going for Six Sigma or DMAC approach is because we need to ensure that the platform is like the people who are participating are aware of the simple solutions, are aware of the foundations which we need to move to the Six Sigma approach. So these Kaizens, lean methodologies, 7 quality tools, and different aspects of 5S, I mean the lean tools, when the participants are well aware of that scenario, we can, and then when we jump to Six Sigma, everyone will be able to get a good and quick idea of the problem and the solutions or the project aspects with it.
Yes. Thank you very much. Actually, it is very useful webinar. Thank you so much. I see actually it can be applied in every day-to-day life also. It's a very positive thinking approach which every person can adopt. So not only in corporates, everywhere we can apply it. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone. Thanks you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. In case of any issues or queries, we can definitely connect after the webinar at any point of time.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we are looking for more such session from you. Thank you everyone for joining the webinar. Thank you for your time. If you have any further question, you can connect with us, Career Guidance Council, and even we can connect you with Mr. Abdullah Farooqi if you need any help. Thank you, sir, so much. So, Mr. Abdullah, any other point before we conclude this?
Yeah, no, this is all. Please feel free to conclude.
Okay, fine. We can conclude this. Thank you all. We'll see you all in the next webinar. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.